Start the recording right now, and I'll get ready to share my screen. Okay, so everybody should see my PowerPoint screen. Is everybody good with that? All right. Okay, well, this is the training for presidents and is presented by District 32. However, what they're trying to do this time is to have some extra or some different trainers. So they've asked several people from outside of District 32 to be the trainers. So I am one of them. Let's see if I can get my screens to go ahead and change now.
Where are you from, Dennis?
I am from Central California. I am in District 33, and I live near Fresno, California. However, I do have a background in the state of Washington. I was District 2 governor, Seattle, way back before a lot of you were members, and I'm not sure in some cases, maybe some of you before some of you were born. It was in 1983 and 1984. So I have some idea of what goes on in District 32. In fact, at that time, District 32 was a very small district. There were only, I think, about 30 clubs. And in order, in that time frame, back in the 80s, you had to have a minimum of, I believe, 30 clubs in order to be even considered a district. So at the time, District 32 was marginally a district. So hopefully you folks have a lot more members and more clubs than that by now. No. Okay, so I am from District 33, which is in Central California. And my helper was supposed to be Lori Zabrowski, which I guess she is not here at the moment, but hopefully she will come. So this is club officer training. And I said, I'm going to move at a relatively quick pace. It seems like most of you already been presidents. However, stop me if there are any questions. So I'm going to have a hard time seeing the chat. So please just unmute yourself and shout out. So, and then I'll catch you, okay? All right, so most of you, I guess, have been a first-time officer. That was a question I asked earlier. And most of you now are presidents, and I guess some of you may be first-time presidents. And I see one person is here just because she's interested in being president. So that's really great. So what we're going to talk about tonight is what is your role as a president? How do you fulfill the responsibilities of president? Find some resources that'll help you, such as manuals and area directors. And that's a question I have. I was looking at the district performance report for District 32, and I noticed that this Division D, a lot of the area governor or area directors have not come and done their reports. So I'm not sure how active your district officers are, at least the next level. So I may make some more comments about the area director so that you folks have an understanding of what an area director is and what they're supposed to do. And if you don't have one or haven't heard from that person, see if you can go find that person because they're supposed to be helping you. And also find the best way to communicate with your members. And so that's one of the points that I'll stop at. A lot of the times we need to get information to our members, and a lot of times we haven't seen our members for a while. So question to you folks, you don't have to answer, but I'm going to throw out a rhetorical question. Do you know how to communicate with your members? That is, if you need to get a hold of a person, do you know if it's best to give them call them on the phone, email them, or how do you get a hold of them? So that's something that you need to know, especially even more specifically, you need to know how to get a hold of your officers. Got a question? Okay. Yeah, you really need to be able to communicate with your officers. So that's one thing you really need to know how to do. So, all right. So what do you do before your meetings? How do you get ready? Well, one of the things you need to do is talk to your vice president of education and see if anybody has completed anything lately. So any educational completions, or do you have any new members? Do you have you done new member inductions? Another question, just throwing it out there, something to think about. When there's a new member to your club, do you have a formal induction ceremony for them? Troy, do you have a comment?
I do. I wanted to mention something, Dennis. You talked about communication and communication within the club.
Yes.
One of the tools that I think is helpful is the club success plan. And one of the questions in the club success plan is, how does the club communicate? having a clear understanding of whether or not you're emailing or texting is important for members to know, how to talk to each other, how best to communicate is a thought. I mean, that should be documented in that club success plan, but it should also be communicated to the club and the officers.
Yeah, that's a good one. Also, even in a regular meeting, if you're the Toastmaster, you need to be able to find out what's the speaker going to do. Are you going to have speakers? And if you're a participant, if you're scheduled to be a presenter in a regular meeting and you can't do it, how do you tell the membership that you're not going to be able to make it? So communication is something that's really important. Okay.
Well, and maybe that's an interesting segue, and I don't want to jump the gun, but to talk about Free Toast Host or Easy Speak, for those of you who use that, I've found as president of several clubs that Free Toast Host is very helpful. I enjoy using that, and then the first club I was president of used Free Toast Host very effectively. The club I'm currently president of, the VP has got a system down where we don't, it's a little bit old fashioned, but it works great. But I would highly encourage those of you who haven't used Free Toast Host to use it. I think it's a very effective tool to help manage your club scheduling and meetings.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, I'm a VP in a couple of my clubs, and right now I'm having a hard time getting people to sign up. So that is something that we all need to work on. And from president to VP, the whole club really needs to work together and decide that we're going to do that. So that's another discussion. Okay, thanks.
Right. You're welcome.
Okay. All right. The other thing you need to do is how to plan the business portion of the meeting if you are going to have a business meeting. Okay. And also, if you are president, hopefully you know parliamentary procedure. I was just throwing out a question. Okay. All right. Okay. When you get there, you need to find out who's here and look at the agenda. See if everybody who's on the agenda is already at the meeting. Now, it's harder to do. Well, actually, it's about the same. If you were back in the old days when we were really meeting face to face, you could look around the room and see who's there. Now with Meetup and not Meetup, with Zoom, you can look at the participant list and see how many people showed up. But you need to find out, are those people who are there on the program or vice versa? Are you missing people on the program? So that's something you need to do at the very beginning. And also, especially when we were meeting face to face, when you have guests, I know the president is usually very busy and you have a sergeant at arms who's supposed to be greeting, but I think that if you have guests, they would feel much better if the club president actually went over and spoke to them and welcomed them to the meeting. So that's something that as president should be something that you should be considering doing at the beginning of every meeting. Look around, see who's there. And also, of course, welcome your regular members, make everybody welcome. And I think you'll find that people will probably be more willing to want to come back to your meeting because they felt welcome. All right, during the meeting, you are in control. Actually, the Toastmaster is in control, but at the very beginning, you are in control. So you call the meeting to order. You introduce any guests, and also at the very end of the meeting, remember your guests because you should ask them for guest comments, see how well what they thought of your meeting. And explain the meetings, how the meeting is flowing, especially if you have guests. Or the Toastmaster could do that too, but make sure that if you have any guests, make sure that they understand how your meeting is going to be run. And also sometimes you have a special meeting, a unique meeting that doesn't follow a regular Toastmaster format, and you need to let people know about that too. And of course, if there is a business portion of the meeting, you take care of that. And also if there's something coming up, let people know. Okay, any other comments? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If you're doing a project that's going to be off the wall, you need to tell them ahead of time. This is not necessarily a typical speech.
Right. And also let the timer know.
Like the one about disruptive audiences, especially. Some people were really confused by that.
Yeah, that would really make people, what's wrong with this club? All right. Okay, and of course you make any announcements and adjourn the meeting. So that's what you do as president during the meeting. Now, what do you do outside the meeting? Well, this is really, really important part too. President's job doesn't stop at the meeting. You attend and vote at area and district council meetings. And that's brings up a question. I mentioned earlier about area director. Are there active area council meetings where you are at, or do you even know what an area council meeting is? Anybody?
Yes,
Yeah.
Dennis, there are, I know at least in Division A, the director is having meetings with his area directors.
Good. I was looking at I'm going to look at the report later with you folks, but in looking at the district performance report, there have been no visitation reports submitted in any area, in any of the division, or any of the area. Okay, let me back up. In Division D, none of the area directors have done their reports yet. And that's why I bring up the comment about, do you know who your area director is? Because I can see that there may be a problem.
Well, and Dennis, just like you mentioned that you're having trouble filling your roles at your meetings, that Toastmasters International is having problems with membership. This is a really difficult time with COVID. So finding people to serve at district and area levels is just as difficult, if not more so, than filling roles at the regular meetings.
No, I understand that. I'm having the same problem here, but I just want to find out if everything was good, we would have area directors and things would happen. The area director is also very important, probably in the next 6 months when we have our speech contests, because there should be normally area contests where your clubs get together, have your contest, and then you move on to division and then on to district. So lacking that, you folks are going to have to come up with something else, but I'll let you folks deal with that. But that there is a potential problem if there is no area director.
Well, and Dennis, that's for you presidents out there, that's not something that you're going to have to necessarily worry about, are the speech contests. You will have to worry about the speech contest in your own club and whether or not you have one. You can select a member. You don't actually have to have a contest in your club. You can delegate or have a specific member that you put forward to speak at the next level at the area contest. Because how it works is you have your club contest, then you have the area contest, and then it goes to division and then the district.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
I'm Deborah, and
Hi,
I'm
Deborah.
an area director and a president for Area 34. And I've seen all my clubs that are online with Zoom.
Right. You're saying that, are you saying that you filled out your reports or that you're doing your visits?
Yes, I already filled out my reports.
Okay.
Reports for this year.
Congratulations. That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's.
And I care. And so what each area director is trained and everything in there. I took my job very seriously, and I make sure that each of my 3 groups are up to date on everything.
And Deborah, one of the things that we should remember mention to the presidents, you will, if you haven't already been, you'll probably be contacted by your area director or your division director if your area director is not available.
Oh, I'm the area director.
No, I understand. I understand.
And
Deborah.
also I work with Roxanne, and I also work with our main person in Alaska. We have meetings all the time.
And that's terrific. Thank you, Deborah. What I'm saying is for the presidents that are on this Zoom call right now, if you haven't already been contacted by your area director, you will likely be contacted by them soon. The area director reports are due at the end of the month. Ideally, the area director should have already visited your club to help assist them with the area director report. Given everything going on right now, it's possible, like Dennis is insinuating, that you don't have an area director. Even if you do, they may or may not have visited one of your clubs by Zoom. They are responsible for filling out what's called the area director report. And as I've mentioned, it's due at the end of the month. Hopefully someone will visit your club soon if they haven't already. They may ask you to help fill out the report, so be ready for that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I was just trying to mention there are other things going on, and I want to make sure that you're, as president, you're aware of the normal hierarchy of things. And if it's not happening, You need to ask some questions. Okay,
So this is Rosanna. I
Sure.
have a question
sure.
regarding the visit from the area director. When we were reviewed, I received a copy of the area director's report, and he was asking for feedback. So as president, or even as an officer, what kind of feedback was he looking for when we were being measured against the form that he brought to complete? So what feedback is he expecting an officer to provide?
What did they work with you on
So-
when they filled that out, or did they just fill it out and send it to you?
It was completed and emailed to me.
But did they just didn't discuss anything with you?
There was no discussion.
Okay, well, that's something that's maybe that's the feedback that should have happened before they submitted it, because they should really spend some time with you as president and VPE, because those are some of the questions that they need to answer. And without your input, it's not that helpful. They really need to work with you and be interactive. So that's something you may want to
So
work
say
on.
if I were
Yeah.
a prospective president, if I wanted to be a president sometime, and I'm watching this area director come into the Zoom meeting, and I think it's known between the officers that there's going to be a report completed, but what does that mean for an officer? And you're saying that what it means to an officer comes from a discussion with the area director as opposed to this drop-in.
Yeah, if they want to really help you, they need to talk to you about things. They shouldn't just come to one meeting and give you a report and send it in, and then you get the report back. That's not very,
Okay, so let me
effective.
re-ask this question.
Okay.
The presidents who are in this room, could you tell me a lesson learned of a kind of feedback you had to provide back to your area directors?
I'll let anybody else answer.
Well, I would comment on just what you're saying, give them the feedback that you would have liked to have been part of the discussion before the report was written up.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to have to do it one more time. They're supposed to do 2 reports. So catch them the next time and don't let them send it in early. I think the reports are supposed to be done by April, or I think April and May timeframe. So the next time you see that area director, or actually, since they are asking for feedback, that will be part of my feedback to them, is that I want to be part of the discussion next time. Don't just write up a report on me. I want to have a discussion, and I want you to help me help our club be better. That's their job. Not just to say that this club has 10 members, they do this many things or whatever, but they should be also a resource for you.
Yeah.
So I would try to make them do their job a little bit better.
As an area director in my 3, I always communicate with all of them and give them pointers of how to make their club a much better club. And so I always get feedback from everyone that's in each of my groups.
Yeah, the area director should actually be having periodic meetings with all of the club presidents anyway. But as in looking at, well, I'm not going to say any more about it. The area director should be doing more. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. Okay. All right.
To
Any more
give
questions?
support
Yeah.
to our area director, he's met with our club twice. He presented us with a report that he had colorized, and in the report, he had filled out portions. Then he had asked us to fill out portions.
Yeah.
Can write my name here.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah,
You back
I'm not-
tonight?
I'm not back until Thursday.
I'll be
so-
gone by then.
Yeah, that's why I
Been
wanted
nice.
to-
Okay. All right. Any more comments? Okay. Well, anyway, there should be area directors only. Okay. Next. You're also supposed to vote at the annual business meeting, which will be coming up in the spring, so that you can elect your new district officers. So be aware of that, something coming up. I believe for your district, I think it's probably in May for most of you in 32. And something that I don't think a lot of clubs are doing is that when you change officers, specifically the treasurer, do you folks have an audit I think that's something missing on a lot of clubs. Okay.
I don't think audits are happening, Dennis.
Yeah, I don't
Can you
think,
explain, what do you expect?
How's
What are they auditing?
How's it supposed to work?
okay, what we should do is, especially if you're changing treasurers, you want to make sure that the books are good and baselined at the point of where they change offices. So that if there was, for some reason, there was a problem with the books and it's given to the new treasurer doesn't get blamed later for any any problems with the books. So you should have probably 2 or 3 people look at the bank statements, look at the income and checks and stuff that is written, and make sure all the numbers balance. And if they don't, find out why, and then at that point write up, say that there was an audit done on this date and this is what the books say, and then the new treasurer can pick up and go from there. So it's kind of protection for the old treasurer that the books were good, and also protection to the new treasurer that the books are good too, so you've got a good clean starting point. And I said most clubs probably don't do this, but I would recommend that it be done. It's actually something for the treasurer in the treasurer's training, but it's also something that the president should be aware of also. Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay.
Yes, Dennis,
Yes.
there a place online? Is there a place online you can direct us to details of this audit? So we can like add it to a checklist of things to do?
You might, I'm not sure, but if you look at the treasurer's part of the officer training manual, you might see it in there. But other than that, I was,
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
if we don't change it, if we keep the same treasurer, shouldn't the books be looked at occasionally anyway?
That would be a good idea, especially if the treasurer's been there for like 3 or 4 years. So it might be a good idea to do that. Okay. I kind of bring it up because I was on the district audit committee this last year for District 33, and I saw some things that were not quite right. And the clubs don't have that much money, but it's still good practice and good training to do this. So I'm just tossing it out. Hey, any more questions or comments? Okay. Another thing that's coming up right now is, depending on whether your club meets weekly or not, you may or may not be changing officers. So you might have to appoint a nominating committee to nominate officers for the next 6 months. And also, you as president, usually you receive a lot of information from world headquarters. And I think right now, I think all club officers are getting emails from Toastmasters International with information about things going on. Question?
For the change, excuse me, I have a question about the nominating committee timing. If the change is not happening until July, when should the nominating committee begin its work?
Probably about 2 months before.
Thank you.
That way you've got time to set it up.
Dennis, it's the immediate past president that is responsible for putting together that nominating panel, committee or panel. Or
how many clubs have an annual versus a 6-month term?
I'm not sure. Technically, if you meet every week, you need to change officers every 6 months. If you meet less than that, then you can go a full year. And I think that, yeah, go ahead.
Are you sure, Dennis? I don't remember reading that in the manual, but I think every year for sure. But it's the way I remember it. It's optional. The 6 months is optional. I'm not familiar of any clubs that I've been involved in that do 6 months. Most everyone that I know of, it goes for a year.
Yeah, we go for a year.
Okay. All right. So then it'll be the president in the next 6 months, or actually, if you're saying that the immediate past president, then you folks will be the nominating committee. Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments on this? All right. Moving on. Oh, do you folks, as the president, do you have an executive committee meeting, and do you have it regularly?
Just had one.
Good. Okay, good. All right, great. Just throwing stuff out. And another thing too, make sure that you are grooming people to replace you or any of the other positions too. So look at your membership, see what people are, their traits and what you think they're good at, and that's who you might want to nominate for the next set of officers. Okay.
Everyone
And-
should know too, you
Yeah.
can only be president 1 year at a time.
Right. Yep. So in that case, you really do need to be looking around. Normally, the VPE would move up, but that doesn't happen in all clubs. So look around, and maybe your VPE is really tired and doesn't want to do any more for a while. So you really do need to look for replacements. Okay. All right. Moving on. Let's see. Oh, I think I already mentioned this earlier in that acknowledging the club and membership achievement. So I'm going to move on this, unless there are any comments about it. Okay.
See, well,
Yeah.
like we recognize achievement outside the club when one of them won their election to office, for example.
Yeah. Also, yeah, somebody may be a member of a service club or something, and so that's something you might want to acknowledge too. And so there are some other things that you can give people credit for, and interact with other organizational levels. And this is where I'm talking about the area level and on up. Okay.
If I may,
Yes.
I don't want to hog the air here. I know I'm saying a lot of things,
That's
but
all right.
one of the things that my VPE has been doing that's been working really well is at the end of our meetings, he's been screen sharing and showing the certificates for the pathways achievements.
Mhm.
And I really appreciate that he's been doing that. We don't want to let it go that people are doing things now more than ever. We want to make sure to recognize folks for their educational accomplishments and make sure we know how proud we are of them, because as everyone I think knows, it's hard enough to keep people in clubs right now. And along with having a strong mentor program, you need to be doing that to keep your membership, because it's a struggle right now.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I'm VP in a couple of my clubs, and when they finish the path, or a level, I make a copy of their certificates and email it to them. So that's what I do as VPE. All right. So who is on your
Well, and
executive?
Dennis, do you know that you can pull those up off the TI website?
Yeah, I pull it up. That's what I do. I pull it off of Basecamp, and I
Okay. Cool.
make a PDF and send it to them.
Right. Okay. Good.
Okay, so you are, well, I'm not sure if I want to spend much more time on this. You folks understand that you do have all of the officers and you need to work together. And the best way to do that right now is to have periodic meetings, especially when you can't see each other face to face. So one way to do it is either before or after a regular meeting or a different time. So it's up to you, but try to spend some time with your officers and try to pull the team together. Okay, so, all right. Okay, it's up to you to provide. Oh, budget. Is this something that you folks do regularly, or do you actually, there isn't a whole lot to spend money on right now, but this is something more of a training thing to do, to have a budget, than really probably an actual thing that you need to be working on right now. But does your club have a club budget? Okay, so there's probably not a whole lot to spend on things right now. But when we were meeting together, some of the clubs have expenses in that they have a meeting room that they may have to pay rent on. If you're in a meeting in a restaurant atmosphere, the food may be sufficient to rent the room, but sometimes there's another fee. So that might be one reason to create a budget. If you folks are using things like Meetup, or you have a club website, those are a couple of things that you need to worry about. If your club is has a bank account that does charge you a fee, service charge, then that's something else you need to budget for. So there are a few things, even though we're not spending a lot of money, there are a few things that are routinely coming up or maybe coming up, so you need to make sure that you budget for them. Okay. Okay, club success plan. I'm going to show you this online in a moment. I'm going to actually go online live to the international website and talk about this. Yeah, same thing for this, basically the same thing. And oh, committees. It's hard to do things all by yourself. So do your club officers have their own unique committees? That's something to encourage, so that they're not trying to do everything by themselves. Also, it helps create the succession for those positions too, because if someone was working on your committee, they may be the next person you might want to nominate to be your replacement, your successor.
Can you give, this is Rosanna, can you give an example of what a committee is, a club? So our club has club officers,
Right.
and we go over the success plan and the DCP, but here it says create and oversee other club committees. So what's an example of what
Okay.
another?
All right. Well, a committee, for instance, the sergeant at arms, when we're meeting face to face, it's a big job for the sergeant at arms to set up the meeting room and also greet guests. So it would be helpful if that sergeant at arms had at least one other person or two other people maybe help with the greeting or setting up with a room. So that's one thing. The PR committee, VPPR, a lot of people now, a lot of clubs are using social media. And so you might have one person maybe in charge of the club website, another person in charge of maybe looking at the Facebook page, another looking at Zoom or looking at um, the meetup and other things like that. So the more people that you can have helping you with your position, it's the better. So that's what I would say committees are, that just other people who can help you do your job, and then it would be help you to find your successor too, so you can see who already has the training and understand what's going on in your position. And that's what I mean by committees. Okay, that help you?
We've also had temporary committees for special, to help out with special events too.
Right. If you have like an open house or something like that, yeah, you might want to have a committee to do that, or a Christmas party or something like that too. So yeah.
And Dennis, I also wanted to mention that for those of you working levels 4 and 5 in pathways, that especially level 5, there's high performance leadership projects that will require a committee. So it may be that you need to, as president, oversee a committee that's part of that level 5 high performance leadership project.
Basically, what we're trying to say is that in order to have a successful club, the more people that you can get involved, the better. The more teams that you can create, the more synergy with your members, the better your club, I think, will be, because people are willing to work together and happy to be together as a group. And I think you will have a more successful club if you do that. That's kind of the bottom line. Okay. Okay, so let's see. What's your plan? Yeah, go ahead. Question? Okay. So as president, what are you going to do? How are you going to fulfill your job? When are you going to do things? Who's going to help you? What materials and resources can you use? And this is where I'm going to bring up some more information, but these are some things you need to ask yourself if you haven't already, and also things that you want to leave with your successor so that they can get a running start in the position, in your job as president or whatever office you might have. And actually in your own job too, if you were going to say move on to a different position wherever you are working, you want to have someone take over what you've been doing. So you need to prepare your successor. So Toastmasters isn't just learning about Toastmasters stuff, is to help you outside of Toastmasters in your real job. So use Toastmasters as a training ground to help you learn how to do these different things so that you can then take what you've learned here and apply it to your job. Okay, so one of the things that you need to have, if you don't already, is have a calendar and mark it up with lots of things that are going on so that you don't miss anything. And go to training things like tonight. Speech contests will probably be coming up. So if there is an areas contest, normally those are scheduled ahead of time. So as a club, you need to make sure that your club contests, if you have any, are done in sufficient time so your contestants have time to practice and then be ready to move on forward to represent your club. So calendar is very good for that.
Does anybody know that I thought I saw on the district website that the club contests have to happen in March? Is that right? Does anybody else know?
That's possible. Each district is different, but yeah, they try to give you an advance notice so that probably the area contest will probably be happening either late March or April. So that's why they want to have your club contest in March so that you're ready to move on to the next level.
Lindy, that's when we started our contest last year. It's COVID blew up right at the same time we were trying to start all of our club contests.
Yeah, COVID messed us all up. There's lots of material out there to be read, and I'll show you that too. And okay, let's see, let's move on. Pretty much this stuff is pretty obvious. Okay, so these are some of the resources that you have. And where do you find all of this stuff? Well, that's what I'm going to move on and show you next. One of the things is, this is one site that you should have bookmarked on your computer. This is the main Toastmasters International website. And there's two areas that you can look at without even having to log in. One of them is Leadership/Club Central. And I'll show you that in a moment. Another one is Leadership Central and the Distinguished Performance Reports. And that's where I really want to spend a little bit of time showing you this.
To see your club's information, you do have to log in.
No, you don't. I'll show you.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. There is a way to do it without logging in. I'll show you. And the last thing, of course, is your own district website. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and close this PowerPoint out and then move on. So here is my information if you want to email me or ask me any questions. And Lori was supposed to be here, and this is her information. So if you want to jot this down, if you have any questions or comments later, feel free to ask me. And I'll leave this up for a moment. See what we're doing on time. Okay, we got until almost 8 o'clock, so we have lots of time. So lots of time for questions and answers. Okay, we got that. And so this will conclude the PowerPoint. So I'm going to close this part out and switch over to the international website. So let me temporarily stop the share and switch over to the other part. Let's see if I can here. Okay, let me open this. All right, so this should look pretty familiar to all of you, right? Everybody see the international site? Okay, up here is log in. Whoops, and I am not going to log in. Okay, so I'm going to go directly to Club Central. Has everybody done this before? Or actually, let me change it. Has anyone not used Leadership Central before? Speak up because I can't see everybody if there is any. Okay. All right, so Leadership Central, you can do it without logging in. Okay, normally you go over here to Club Central and what you'll find is all your club information, but I'm going to switch first to the Distinguished Performance Reports. And this is where you can find out more about your club without having to log in. So I'm going to click on the DPR. And you'll see this screen. And there's different ways to dig into it. You can either go up here where it says select a district, or I know that District 32 is in Region 1. So I will just go here to District 32, click on it. And now you'll see this. And I'm going to move this out of my way.
Oh.
And now let's go to I'm going to switch to division. So let's say I'm going to look at something in Division D. So I'll go all the way down here to Division D, and whoops, I went too far. All right, so here's Division D stuff. And the reason I made the comment about area reports not happening, in this column right here, it says club visits, and I see 0%, 0%, 0%.
Yeah, but scroll up, you'll see different things.
In in the other ones, but I've specifically D, since this is supposed to be for areas, divisions A and D, that's why I'm focusing on D. I know A has done a lot better. So this one's actually more than 100. I'm not sure how you do that, but anyway. So anyway, let's pick a club. It said you can do it without, let's see. Let's pick, I'm just picking one up at random. Okay, here's this club's information. They have 12 members right now. And if you want to look at what things, let's see, they have one goal that they've already met. And here's a check mark right here. So you can see this. And then also, if you want to see how many more you need of everything, looks like they've got one level 2 award already done. They only need one more, they get a check mark. They have, let's see, new members, they need 3 more new members and they get a check mark. So this is where you can look at the status of your club. It's called different things. It's been called different things. Club management plan, distinguished club plan, club management, all that stuff. Anyway, this is where you can look at it without logging in. And this should be relatively up to date by Toastmasters International. This is where Toastmasters will look to see how your club is doing and how your area and division directors can be looking at it too. So this is what you can do without logging in. Any comments, questions? Okay, let me switch back over to now the club part of the.
Dennis, I have a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I logged in and it's a technical question. When I click on club status, my screen is blank. Was I supposed to select something before I went to club status?
I'm not sure. Let me back up and to how I got in here.
Okay.
Now, if you're a member of multiple clubs, you do have to pick which club you want to
Right.
see.
Yes.
So if I,
Oops, went too far.
oh, then I do a club search. Okay, I understand. I'm on District 32. I'm a member of more than one club.
Yeah.
So I do a club search on the club I want to see, like the speaker just said.
Yep.
And
Either
then
the name
okay.
or the number.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm good. I missed that step. Thank you very much.
All right, sure. Okay, let's go back to, let's look at the Club Central stuff. See what you can do over here in Club Central. Oops. Oh, this one you do have to log in. Okay, so what, let me rephrase or clarify what I did then. If you want to just look at your club information in the performance reports, you do not have to log in. If you want to look at your Club Central stuff, you do have to be first a club officer. Any of the club officers can log into Club Central, but if you're not an officer, then you can't look at the Club Central stuff. Okay, so, all right, I'm going to log in. Come on. Okay, I'm a member, an officer in 3 clubs. So I'm going to pick one of my clubs. All right, so this is what you can do if you can add, okay. Most of you probably have paid for membership. You want to look at your club roster, understand how to do all that.
Hi. I didn't ring the bell.
Okay, I got to mute somebody.
Must be someone else's bell.
Who's, where?
Well, nice to see. And what's your name?
My name's Paula.
Okay, you'll be on.
Okay, here. Okay, so you know that this is how you can pay for members' dues. And we got a whole bunch of members who did not pay last time. Look at that. And if you want to copy your club roster, you can do this. So this is probably most stuff that you normally have done before. But do you know that there's other things that you can do in here? Let's see. If you want to find out if a member, well, actually you should already know this, so you don't need this. Addendum. Here's where you can say what your club dues are. Some clubs have dues and others don't. And this will tell you how much your dues are. And this is where you set it up and how often you pay your dues. You can also say this thing is in my way. Let me get this out of here. Okay. Okay, my particular club does not have any restrictions. It's not a corporate club. New member fee, this tells you how much the new member fee is. If your club charges a new member fee besides the $20 that Toastmasters has, and in this case, my club charges $10. The next one tells how much, when you pay your dues. Let's see, regular meetings. Okay, this sets, if you change when you meet, make sure that you go in here and change it, because this will fix the international website. So if people are looking for a club that meets on Wednesdays and your club changed from Wednesday to some other day, you need to change this area and also change the time. Let's see. There was another area that I really wanted to look at. There's an area, oh, here it is. In your addendum right now, you probably need to check this spot because online attendance is accepted right now. So this is one area that you need to fix on your club site or on the international, because I think everybody right now is online. So this box needs to be checked. When we go back to the regular time, when we meet face to face and you don't do this anymore, then you need to uncheck this and people will know not that your club does not have Zoom capability. If you want to remain a hybrid club where you have both Zoom and regular meetings, you need to have this box checked. Any questions or comments? Okay. Anyway, I guess it's one area that I wanted to show you. That's something that you probably don't spend much time looking at. Let's see what else is there. Also, if you're change your meeting location, this is an area where you change that, your contact and meeting information. So you put in the new address. Here's where you change your schedule. Okay, any questions?
Dennis, how about sharing with people how they would sign off on an educational award, because
Sure.
they have to sign off in 2 different places.
Okay, sure, let me do that. Okay, normally if you are, let's see, president, VPE, and secretary are the 3 people who, 3 officers who can sign off on an educational completion. And normally you will get an email stating that you need to, that someone has completed something and needs to have it verified. So as president, you will get such an email. So this is one place where you'll log in to Leadership Central and then Club Central. And right here it says submit educational awards. So you'll click on this spot. And there will, and then if the member has submitted, then you will click on the member's name, click on it, and then you'll get another box and you'll have the options to select what educational completion. So this is one area that needs to be taken care of. The other one is in pathways, and you'll need to go in as base camp manager. So you go to base camp. Come on. And you need to log in as a base camp manager. And then there'll be pending requests. So you'll click on the pending request and there should be someone's name in here. And then you'll have to check on a checkbox to approve it. And then there's a box that opens up. And normally what you would do is say that you would say approved by, and then you put your name and the date that you approved it, and then click on the check mark, the green check mark, and that'll submit the pathways completion. So those are the 2 places that you have to submit if you want to have the proper documentation for an educational completion for your club. Questions?
So you also know you cannot sign off on yourself. Someone else
Right.
has to do it for you.
That's right. If you are doing, if you've completed one, then you'll have to ask your one of your other 2 officers to do that for you. That's correct.
Can you show us where we access the educational certificate?
Let me see if I can remember how to do that. Let me try.
If you can't, Dennis, I can do it if you want.
Let me see. I think. Okay, let me stop. I'll let you try it. I'm going to stop share. Go ahead.
I've got to log in first, just a second.
Okay. I have to do it several times. I've done it and then I keep forgetting. I have to relearn it every time I do it.
A little off from the topic that you're talking about.
I think you're going to have to allow me to share my screen, Dennis.
Okay, let me see if I can. Let me see if I can find you, Troy. Let's see. Oops, looks like maybe I can't. Yep, looks like I can't do that. Sorry. Okay, let me go back and see if I can find it. All right. Do you,
All right.
someone, you may talk me
I
through
can-
it.
Yeah, I can walk you through it.
Okay. Am I in generally the right spot right now?
You have to share your screen. I'm not seeing you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do that first. That might help. Let me see. Where am I? There we go. Okay.
All right. So if you click on, okay, you see the blue box that says mark complete.
Yeah.
Down the
Yeah.
dark blue box. Click on the arrow on the right hand side. Go down to view training details.
Okay.
Now, have you completed a level in this?
Actually, I don't think I have done on this one. So I won't
Okay,
have-
so I'm gonna need to see one of your paths where you've completed a level.
Yeah, let me see if maybe I can pull up another member.
So you're saying we go into the members,
Yeah.
Well,
whatever
if,
this is called.
well, right, and I'm a little bit rusty on when you're the president and you're going into someone else's path. What you'll need to log in as Basecamp manager, and then yeah, maybe it is member progress. I'm trying to remember. I've only had to do this a couple times, but
Every time I do it, I have to learn over again.
yeah, I think, but there is a way as president you can go in and view your members' levels. Just a second. Let me look at I might be able to walk us through this. Just a second.
Yeah.
Looking for a specific member, you can just type in the search bar on the upper right, and
Yeah.
that will take
Yeah,
you
it's
right
not,
there.
Not letting me.
To their
Oh,
path,
really?
right?
Yeah, there. Yeah.
Lynn, was that you that said that?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Right. And then you click on that. Yeah. Good point. Okay. And then that should bring up their profile, right?
Right. I'm trying to get it to come up.
Oh, that's strange.
There we go. It's
There
coming.
you go.
Okay.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah. Let's
And
see.
so you click on John.
Yeah.
Actually, I think you needed to click on his name. If you go click on his name, see if that brings up his profile, and then scroll down a little bit more.
Nope.
No.
Nope. Not there.
No.
Let's see.
Okay.
Let's
see. Oh, you know what? Go to
I think I got it. I think I got it. I'm on.
Oh, wait.
Here we go.
There you go. Okay, so then yeah, click on view training details. Scroll down. Okay, so this is where, all right, on the right hand side, let's see if any of these paths have been completed. Okay, so
I might have picked the wrong
Hey,
one.
Troy, if you go back to the screen before this one, this is the kind of rabbit hole part. But
Yeah,
if
I
you
know.
go back and yeah,
well,
wait,
okay, that
so what you
and
want to
then
do?
go ahead.
is-
You have an easier way to do it. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, just click on like team collaboration, and that should
Yeah, I know he's done.
actually
team
go
collaboration.
back.
Well, so the way I always do it, see on the right-hand side where it says details, it looks like there's an eye looking at a piece of paper. If you,
Yeah.
Dennis, if you
Yeah, I was trying
click
to.
on that, on the eye with the piece of paper and then scroll down.
Okay. There we go. Let's go.
This is the only place I know to find it. But if you,
Nope,
no, see, no, that's not, I'm not seeing it. It hasn't been, I don't think that's been completed. But so everyone knows that weird looking piece of paper with the eye pointing at it, once the level is completed, if you click on that, let's see, now go, but see, I don't think the level's completed. If it was completed, you'd have the option to print that certificate.
Yeah, I've already printed it.
But it needs to be, so go ahead and close it, go back. Let's see, scroll down. Now, is this you or is this the person that somebody else that we were looking at? I think if it's not gonna work and you clicked on the piece of paper with
Oh,
the
here we
eye.
go. There it is.
See, there it is. See,
Print
print certificate.
There it is.
Yep. There you go.
That's
And
where
then
you go.
that'll bring it up. And then you can print it, or you can view it, or
save
it
it
as a
or whatever.
PDF.
Yeah, that's it. That's where it is. It takes a while to figure. I said every time I do it, I have to fool with it for quite a while to get it. But anyway, this is what you do. You can print certificate. I'll just go ahead and I don't think it's making a difference anyway.
Not if it's already been certified, basically.
Yeah. So then what you do is you can print this, save it, and then send a copy to your member.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and then people should know how to do this themselves, because they can print it up and
they
save
can
it
do
on
that
their
too
own.
in case somebody, in case the VPE doesn't do it for them.
Right.
Okay.
What can be tricky, and we were kind of alluding to this, is that the different launching, if you scroll down, Dennis, to where it in the training details, and Lynn was kind of talking about how I can understand how for some people this screen could be intimidating. For me, I love the structure of it, and it lets me see all the levels and to know what's completed and not, and kind of gives me an idea of what I have to work on. But where it gets really weird is under the options to the left of the details that we were just looking at, where it says launch on all these. Sometimes you'll think you've marked things as completed or launched or whatever, and you'll have to click it again. I mean, it gets really temperamental sometimes. So if for instance, you thought you submitted an educational completion or you've marked it done, just double check it. Sometimes you actually have to click on it again in order for it to do what it does. It's the weirdest thing. So just be aware of it.
Yeah, this is also where, as VPE, you can make sure that the member, or actually if you're trying to approve, make sure it does say completed everywhere where it needs to on the first two levels. When you get to the next few levels, there's some electives, so these may not all have to say completed.
Now, does everyone know where you can upload your evaluations? Does everyone know that we can do that electronically?
There's the e-portfolio.
Under the e-portfolio, I really like that. And as a VPE, it's a great way to look at your members and see if they've done that as well. Because Toastmasters is on the honor system. They could have marked it completed on the other sheet we were just seeing. But one of the things that I like to do is look to see if the actual evaluation is uploaded. I mean, it's a double check, right? I mean, we're on the honor system. We want to believe that everyone has done what they said. But it's nice.
That's an individual choice though, right? Because I keep mine paper, but it's too much of a PIA to go ahead and upload them for me.
Well, no, and I get that. But it is nice as a VPE to have that double check, especially if you're not at the meetings where the people have given the speeches or they did it outside of the club. It's nice to have that. It can be nice to have that there.
I'll show you something else. We talked about Free Toast Host, so let me show you something that's in Free Toast Host that is pretty helpful too. I'm going to log into my own club. Okay, if you have a member, let's see, let me go to the agendas. Okay, if you have a member who is saying that they've completed things, or actually they don't know what they've completed, there's this little icon, you see the person's head, or click on that, and you can say, find out if speech report, and let's see, pick a member, let's pick this person for the whole year, and you can, let's do all. So if they have filled out the information in the speech area, you will find out when the dates they were scheduled to be a speaker. And if they filled out the information about which project they're working on, you'll see this too. So this is a quick way to find out if a member has done the speeches when they said they did, or have done any of them. Let's see.
And you can see yourself or any member of the club in
Right.
that screen.
Yep.
Yes.
That's slick. I've never seen that before. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I use that quite a bit when we were trying, people lost their book or whatever, you could find out when they gave the speeches and also the titles but in order to do that, they have to fill in this area. If they don't do this, then all's lost. Well, not necessarily. If they're scheduled to be a speaker, you know that they were scheduled to give a speech, but you don't know which project they did, or what their title was, or what they talked about. So,
well, and that is an
but-
opportunity, Dennis. That's potentially an opportunity for either the VP or I suppose president, any officer really, to go in after a meeting and populate the agenda.
Yep.
To preserve the integrity of what happened.
Yep.
I don't think any officer can edit. I think it's just the VPE for.
May unless you, yeah, I suppose you're probably right, Lindy.
Well, the Toastmaster can, and I think it's selective. You can be given rights to do that. You can.
That's true. Yes, the Toastmaster can. You're right, and then the VP or whoever has authority.
But I think it changes once you've already had the meeting. Once it's retrospective, the rights are different than
That's
before
true.
the meeting.
That's true.
Yeah, it does get locked.
Specific,
Yeah.
right. But you
And
could, as Toastmaster, you could go in there and fix it if it wasn't correct.
And easy speak, you can't close a meeting out unless you have all that information.
Yeah, Easy Speak's a little bit different, but there's some good features of that too that I like. But I use this one more. Okay, we got about 10 more minutes. Okay, let me close this out. And since most of you are in District 32, make sure that you folks are aware of District 32's website. Log out, come on. Okay, here's District 32's website. So if you folks seen this before, if you haven't, you need to. And it is D32toastmasters.org. You want to find out when things are happening in the district, you click over here.
How is that different from the View from 32 website?
I'm not sure. I haven't looked at that one. So
The View from 32 is the weekly newsletter, and this is the whole district calendar and so forth.
There's a link for the View from 32 on this website. So this is the main, like the homepage.
yeah, and this is where we're at right now. Okay.
Dennis, this is Lynn, and I have a request.
Sure.
If we have time, could we do some sharing of best practices? Because I have something I would like to share with the club or with the group, because Thunderbird Toastmasters has been President's Distinguished for 23 years in a row. And so there's one thing that we do that really helps with our education awards and member retention. So could I just do a brief share about what that is?
Yeah, we've got 10 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. What we do in the club is a new member orientation. So as soon as somebody joins, I give them a new member orientation over Zoom, where I have created some basic documents, which will change from club to club. I take them through our club website with the resources on it, but probably most importantly, we go to Toastmasters International so they can look at pathways, take the assessment, discuss the 11 paths, figure out which one is the best fit for them. They choose it, and I show them how to access their icebreaker. So with that, hand holding at the beginning, people are very confident with that clunky platform, and they get excited because they've chosen a path that's really a good fit for them. So if anybody is interested in seeing the documents, I'm happy to share all the things that we've created over the years. So I'll put my email address in the chat box, and if anybody would like to contact me, I'd be happy to share. Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? It's open. The floor is open for anybody right now. I've pretty much covered what I was planning to cover. So anybody want to share? Floor is yours. got to be some more stuff out there. I know I didn't cover everything. Tried to cover as much as I could quickly, but and some of you have already
Our
been in.
VP,
Yeah,
so this is Rosanna.
Yeah.
This is Rosanna. Our VPE will mail our club members their award, and they have a ribbon after completing a project. But when they've earned an education award, in the next Zoom meeting, she asked those people to withhold from opening their mail so that we could all be in the room, quote unquote, room with them when they open their mail and receive their ribbons and read their certificate of award and then show it to us. And it's kind of like having them in front of the room and receiving an award in front of everybody. But to have that moment of surprise and share it with them when they open what the ribbon looks like and read their certificate for the first time in front of everybody, it's like we're there with them when they receive the award.
great, good. Anybody else have something?
Can you tell me how to do those little tags, or what were those called? I haven't managed to find it on the website on how to give those little ribbons.
Oh, well, there are some virtual background things that you could do. Let's see. Oops, well, actually, I think I still can get them. I got a new computer and a lot of my stuff disappeared. So let me see if I can find, well, here's one. There's a background that you can change and give. There's one for best evaluator, best speaker, best table topics. You do that, but each individual has to do it on their own. But you could do that for them, and then say at the next meeting, they could use that as their background. And yet, anything else? Let me see. A few other things I found that you might want to play with is that if you're the timer, I've tried different things. There's one where you can actually change the whole background. And then I found one that's not quite as intrusive, where you can actually just have a little stoplight.
The intrusive is nice when you're speaking so that you can see it.
Yeah. Anything else anybody want to share?
Dennis, can you provide on that resource what your email is again? Because I'd like to ask you about that, the cute stoplight timer and then the color background.
Actually, let me see if I can upload.
Or someone who knows how to do that.
Let me see if let me try uploading one of them and see if you can get it, and then I'll save some time there for you.
Okay.
Let's see if I can get it. Let's see, where is it? Okay, here's. Okay, one of them should be uploading right now in the chat. So see if you can get it out of the chat. Come on, it's almost done. Okay, there's one in the chat right now. Can you see it? If you can, I'll do the rest of them.
I don't see anything yet.
Okay, it's in the chat.
Is there a place on the international site you can just show us where to go to download it?
I can't remember where I found it. Let me see. Let me figure out where. Trying to figure out what's the best way. There's 20 of you folks. I don't have all of your emails. If I can, let's see.
Hey, Matthew.
Let me go back to the international site. Let me see if maybe I can find it real quick.
Thanks, Troy, for all your input.
My pleasure. Have a great night, everybody.
Matthew.
I see something from Lynn. The timer Zoom backgrounds.
Yeah, there's the full background, but I found the stoplight is in a little bit different area, and I can't remember where I found it.
Okay.
Why don't you do this? If you're the only one who would like to see that, just go ahead and put your email. Well, actually, you've got my email, don't you? Did you copy that?
No.
All right. All right. Let me first.
You had to ask.
That was dham@sti.net.
Correct.
Right?
That's it.
S like Sam, T like Tom, I.net.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
send me
you.
an email, and then I'll find them. I know I have them. I'll send them to you.
Thank you.
If anybody else wants anything like that, go ahead and send me an email, and then any requests, and I'll send it to you.
Thank you, Dennis, for facilitating this. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I guess in a few minutes, they're going to want us back at 8 o'clock. I think they have a survey that they want you to fill out before you leave. So did we get a message did we just get a message that they want us back? No. So anyway, I am done with what I was planning to give you, but if you have any other questions, feel free to email me and I will do my best to answer it for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Again,
And thank you everybody for helping me with my questions. Thank you.
All right. My email again is dham@sti.net.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you everybody for attending. And if there's nothing else, I think they want us to, let's see. Yeah, they want us to go back to the main room to finish the survey. So we can go ahead and leave the room. Make sure you leave the room and not the meeting and go back to the main room. Okay.
Leaving room.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, everybody.
Hey, Dennis, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Quick question?
Yeah.
Do you know if I am president of two clubs from two different districts? Do I need to do I need to attend in two different trainings or?
No, I think you can count this for both clubs, but what you'll need to do though is make sure that District 32 submits the information back to your two clubs or two districts so that you get credit.
Okay, perfect. And do you know who is the contact person?
The contact is going to be the email is for Roberta Craig, and her email is CGD Club Growth Director. Let's see, at D32Toastmasters.org.
How do you switch back to the main room without logging out?
There's a leave room. There should be a button on the corner that says leave.
It just says leave. That's it.
Should say leave room.
If you hover the mouse, you can see the button for leave room. And so, Dennis,
I found it.
What's the email address? Is it C like cat